You can hear things that you did not give permission for you to hear it. Same thing. Sometimes things can just be displayed around you that you did not give permission. They just cross your path. For example, even on our phone, a naked woman's picture may just pop up. You are not the one as an ad. You are not the one intentionally opt for it. Is Satan intentionally putting things around us to feed where? Our hearts, because he knows that if he feeds that heart, keeps feeding that heart, you can never bear good fruit. Can never. So verse 12, then his disciples came and said to him, do you know that the Pharisees were offended when they heard these things? Sorry? Thank you, Spirit, thank you. I was wondering where I was saying Spirit. I'm like, is there Spirit in the scripture I'm reading? So what he said, so he's referring to what Nobat said, that it doesn't need permission to enter your spirit. Can you imagine the powerful... So one of the ways to protect your heart is what? To be careful what you are listen to. The kind of songs. Especially songs. Songs are powerful. This is the explanation of the Bible. The one we just read. No, not what goes into the mouth defiles a man, but what comes out of the mouth defiles a man. So he goes on to explain it now in verse 16. Let's go to verse 16. So Jesus said, are you also still without understanding? Verse 15, out of the mouth defiles a man. Verse 18. But those things which proceed out of the mouth come from where? Verse 18. Come from where? Are we together? But those things which proceed out of the mouth come from where? The heart. And it is those things that come from the heart of a man that can defile what? Others. So a person is already defiled. Satan has defiled many people around you. He has stationed many people around us that are defiled. And if he wants to defile us, what will he do? He will bring those people around us so that as they speak from the defilement of their own hearts through their mouths, and you also assimilate or listen to it or begin to yield to it, what will happen? You yourself begin to change. You begin to change. So that's what he's saying. Proceeds out of the mouth comes from the heart, and it is only that which is that comes from the heart as they are made to defile. I'm almost tempted to share this one. Okay, let me leave it. Next verse 19. For out of the heart proceeds what? Notice. He's describing the things that come out from the heart and the things that have the ability to differ. Okay? Out of the heart proceeds what? Evil thoughts. Okay? Thoughts. It starts with thoughts. What you are thinking of. But many a times, so having a thought can what? Oh my Jesus, are we here? A thought can do what? Defile. A person, listen. A person, let me explain this thing. A person's heart is evil. So because of out of that evil in their heart, they came up with a dress that they will wear that day. A girl or a lady, right? She came up with a dress. For her, it's very beautiful, very attractive. But what she did not know is that because her heart is corrupt, even the thoughts of her heart that looks very attractive to her and that looks okay to her in themselves, according to scriptures, they are what? Evil thoughts. And so that evil thoughts that she doesn't know, to her is innocent. It's just, and so because of that, she goes to take up a dress that only covers this part. Are you following? Wears no bra, only covers this part. she's showing her stomach. I don't know what she wants people to see. Are you following what I'm saying? You see these things around you, and that's why I'm explaining like this. I don't know what she's trying to show us in her stomach. So she exposes her stomach, and most of them, depending on the dimension of evil that they conceived that day, then they now put on, if they ever, some of them wear trousers, they'll put on a very tight trouser. Others who determine, most of them, they forbid wearing that long thing. So they will come up with, there's even, that one has rained, it has stopped raining now for many of them. You know, how many of us have seen that one that's like in skirts, but it's rags, like rag? It always ends here. And it has this color, I think, you know it, you see it, pink, it's not close to pink and purple, mix of pink and purple is like. So they will wear that one and they will start going. You see all of those things, and you are thinking it's just a dressing. It began with where? The heart. It started as a thought conceived in the heart that eventually then materialized as what? An outfit. And so the person is walking. What do you think the person is communicating? He's communicating thoughts. The same thing that came from the heart. That's what the person is communicating. What she's sending forth a signal, and the signals are what? Evil thoughts. So you look upon it, and you can't help but think what? Evil. Why? Because the thing originated from where? Evil. It cannot be anything else. So the person is beaming forth evil, and even people around them, they can't help but also what? If you are not sensitive, you pick such and you hoard it. So it all begins with thoughts, and then it goes on to what? That's the birthplace. Everything that comes from the heart starts as a thought, and then it materializes into murders. So before a person kills another person, there's no time to hammer on each of them heavily. I'll just talk about them quickly. Before a person takes knife to kill another person, they must have conceived it where? In their heart as a what? As a thought. You don't do anything without first thinking about it. It's only madmen. Even madmen think. It's only that their thoughts have been what? It's not like W, it's upside down. They think. You have to be worse than a madman not to think. Before you speak, you what? You think. Well, look at the talking part. Is the last part. False witness, blasphemies. It's starting with the highest part, the most powerful part, thoughts. And then it goes to action, and then it goes to words. Describing food. So we see the evil thoughts, then it manifests in actions like murder. So when you see, like you said, before a person kills another person, they must have thought about it. Adultery, nobody commits adultery or fornication, or even in our day and age, masturbation, watching pornography without first doing what? Conceiving it as a what? As a thought. And where is that thought coming from? We are always going to be referring back to how it started. Where is that thought coming from? Why is that heart constantly thinking of such a thing? Because that heart is what? Full. Don't forget that part. Full of what? That's evil thought. Because it's out of the abundance that the heart what? Speaks. We can also say it's out of the abundance that the heart constantly thinks. So in order for the person to change him, to stop thinking evil thoughts, what would the person have to also do? Replace and ensure they bombard that heart with the right thoughts or right words. So you have to listen. We talked about maybe I'll mention it later as we're wrapping up. So we're wrapping up next 10 minutes. I should be done. 10, 15 minutes. I should be done. Evil thoughts, murders, adultery, fornication, theft. You can't. There's none of these things you do without first thinking. If you can destroy it at the thought level, you will never carry it out. Are we following? If you can terminate it as a thought. There are some thoughts that are not your own. Let me even say this. I showed us the analogy just now. Somebody dressing can start communicating thoughts that were not originally yours. True or false? But if it's something that you are constantly thinking about, it is your own doing. That's not just, it's your own doing. You are fed on something. You have fed your heart with something. So it talks about theft, and then it goes to say false witnesses, meaning lying. You lie without batting an eyelid. Before you got to that point that you have now become a king in constructively lying, is that you started it little by little. You lie. Let's not even go there. Blasphemies. There are several blasphemies. You watch most movies where they use their tongues carelessly. They use the F word. You know those. You know what I'm referring to. F word. Stuff like bullshit. Stuff like that. Others like murder. F. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to keep, but you understand what I'm saying. You have fed your heart with such movies back and forth, and you're now wondering why somebody all of a sudden does something to you, and you spill forth such words. Oh God, you have filled your heart with it. I filled your heart with it. Okay? Next verse 20. He then says in verse 20, as we end here, he then says, I'll show us one scripture now, that will be all. These are the things which defile a man, not eating or washing your hands. Right? So, if these things can defile a man, it's showing us it's showing us also invariably the things that can purify a man. If there's something that can defile it, don't forget, we started with good and evil. Good, you can be good and then convert to evil. The process of being good and converting to evil is what? Defilement that we spoke about just now. Alright? You can be evil, or you notice some evil tendencies in your heart and you want to change it. How do you change it? Sorry, the process of changing from evil to good is what? Purification, transformation. Yeah, transformation. Alright? Change. So if we notice that most of the thoughts that are coming out from our hearts, most of our words and most of our actions are constantly evil. I've mentioned already one thing we have to do to change it. Who remembers the one thing I said? If you want to change what is in the heart, your heart is already full of so many things, so many evil things. That's why you either throw it away, right? And then you pour Fanta. But in the kingdom way, in the matter of your heart, that's not how you can't just take something. Once it has gone into the heart, it has gone into the heart. The only way to remove it is to replace it. So, cup of milk, lots of what? Lots of Fanta. Do you see that? How many of us understand that analogy and what it means? If you want to replace anything evil in your heart, you have to pack lots of good and start pouring it into your heart. Start pouring it into your heart. Start pouring it into your heart. So how do you do that? Let me show you how you even put evil here. You remember we mentioned that the amount of Fanta has to be so much so that you will not just pour. If you just pour small Fanta into that cup full of milk, you'll still be noticing the milk inside. I'll be not so. You still notice it. Like it's mixed. You have to have lots of it, and so you have to take scriptures or take what we call it, messages on that matter. Keep listening. You will not even know when you start changing. The same way, that's how most of us started acting evil and saying certain words and acting in certain bad ways. It was because we were bombarded. We didn't know it all. We were constantly bombarded with evil around us. You were hearing things. The second one is what I want to quickly mention. You were hearing things, constantly hearing things. Is in 2 Peter. And this is the last verse, and we'll end. I couldn't talk about the T-souls, but there's no time. So that you know that there are people, Satan has placed you in an environment that will fight against your change. He has intentionally placed you in that environment to fight against your change. People around you will fight against you. Based on what you are seeing and what you are hearing, you must take responsibility to actively what? Fill your heart with the right things. And that's what I want to show us quickly. First Peter. Let's say First Peter or Second Peter. I'm ending here. Second Peter chapter 2 verse 8. Verse 8, 7 and 8. We just start from 7. He said, and God also delivered Lot, who was oppressed by what? Filthy conduct of the wicked. Notice, filthy here means evil. It means dirty. Let's read. Let me check some other translation to break this one down. It means immoral, wicked. So Lot was living in a place where he was surrounded with who? With who? Evil and wicked people. Verse 7. He said God delivered him from Lot, who was oppressed by filthy conduct. Filthy conduct means, like I said, corrupt way of living. People are living corrupt around you. Yahoo is the order of the day, and you are seeing all of them around you. And you are almost getting tempted. But you know you want to be righteous. It is Satan wanting to attack and fight that fruit of righteousness that you want to bear, or that you are holding on to. Lot was surrounded, said he was oppressed by filthy conduct of the wicked. Verse 8. So who are those who are spreading wickedness around? Evil thoughts, evil actions, so that everywhere you go, all that you see is evil. So that when that thing is sown in your heart, you yourself, you do what? You join them. Satan does not want any person to bear any fruit for God. He wants everywhere to be full of darkness. And how everywhere is full of darkness is if he corrupts and pollutes and defiles everybody's heart. Everywhere becomes full of darkness. This man is describing Lot. Lot was a righteous man. He was living in a place where people were sleeping around with themselves. We don't have time to have looked at Lot. So I see how bad it was. Some of us, it's not even that bad. We know upper can be a funny place. Upper can be a dark place. But it's not that bad. It's not as bad as Sodom and Gomorrah. That God had to come and send fire and brimstone into the city to burn everybody to ashes. It's not as bad. Okay? So he was a righteous. He was so bad in his day that men were sleeping with men. And it was not even tea. Some people may say, oh, it's common now. People do that now. You don't know Sodom. And it was as so bad that any new person who comes, you remember the story of the angels when they came and they said, I just want a fresh blood. They could tell that new people had come. They could tell that new people had come. That fresh meat don't show. We don't taste everybody. We never taste these ones. Men, go back. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. If you even have the desire for it, they will want to ensure that you are frustrated. That you try and you are frustrated, and you then give up and say, let me just join everybody else. That's the idea. And it's God's intent that you break out of it. So let's see how, I just want to establish this and we'll move on. Intent that you break out of it. So let's see how, I just want to establish this and we'll move on. Alright, and we'll pray. Verse 8. It says, for that is the difference. He has stationed people and stationed things. You saw the example I gave, to constantly be broadcasting things into your things. You saw the example I gave, to constantly be broadcasting things into your heart. Day by day. So that if you don't yield today, you will wake up tomorrow. He will show you again. You don't yield. You too must also be determined in bearing fruit. Determined.